You're watching your weatherman. This is your tropical update. Claudette finally became a tropical storm very late last night in the wee hours of the morning as it crossed over into southeastern Louisiana around 2 a.m. So within minutes of making landfall, the storm finally made that transition. And now the storm is inland. It's a depression. However, it is still packing a punch. The center is currently between Meridian and Montgomery. The storm currently has sustained winds of 35 miles an hour with gusts over tropical storm force as it cuts through the heart of the south. And it's also dropping a pretty good amount of rainfall far inland, far north and east of the center, as far north and east as notable locations such as Birmingham, Atlanta, and even spreading into the Carolinas. And that will continue over the next few days as the storm moves towards the east. And then we look at the Outer Banks specifically, where there is now a tropical storm watch in effect, and it actually extends all the way down to the Wrightsville Beach area, and it's based on the notion that as this thing moves towards the Atlantic, the East Coast, it could pick up strength again as it speeds away to the northeast. So we could be dealing with impacts off of the East Coast, specifically in North Carolina, and then another landfall potentially in Newfoundland as the storm starts to lose its tropical characteristics. So what's in store for the next few days? Well, for much of the south, a widespread area of 1 to 2 inches of rain on top of what's already fallen in the light green, with several areas of 2 to 4 inches possible. And then the storm is also expected to kick up some storm surge along the Outer Banks of North Carolina, looking at 1 to 3 feet from Cape Fear all the way up through Hatteras and Kill Devil Hills, and even all the way up to the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. That would be in a few days as the storm moves in that direction. And Pamlico Sound will probably look like the Atlantic Ocean as the storm comes through there. So not only could we see storm surge, coastal flooding along the Outer Banks, but also mainland North Carolina. And as far as those rainfall totals go, we could easily overshoot that 4-inch mark locally in some of these areas should these rain bands, which are pretty well organized right now, get set up in certain areas. On top of all that, a few spin-up, short-lived tornadoes are possible as this storm is still pretty well intact as a tropical system, and as it spins over the southern U.S. and interacts with the friction of the land, you could see some of these isolated tornadoes pop up. So know where you might go in that case. In the Eastern Pacific, Dolores came close to hurricane strength with wind gusts to 75 miles an hour as it slammed into Mexico. Since landfall, the storm has lost about half of its intensity down to a tropical depression with winds of just 35 miles an hour as it moves inland. And within the next 12 hours, it will fully dissipate. The Central Pacific is quiet, and that will do it for your tropical update. Please give the video a big thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We will pick back up with these two systems tomorrow as they continue their way inland. And be sure to check my Facebook page, James's Weather Forecasts, as we have some mean storms making their way into the St. Louis area tonight.